Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining in with today's broadcast. Davcat 43 Fights Fascism is the name of the podcast, and Davcat 43 is the name of my Twitter handle, my Periscope broadcast, and coincidentally, my YouTube channel. I'm working on branding. But today's chat is about Alan Dershowitz and the essentially nonsensical defense arguments that we anticipated would be put forward in the defense of America's criminal president. How are you guys going? I'm imagining that not many people are watching it. Neither am I. Good evening, Harvested Beasts. Nice to see you. So I'm happy to see high-profile journalists chime in with comments such as the comment I've just shared a comment from Ari Melba saying that Trump added Starr and Dershowitz to his team to bring it home. But it's striking to see how their presentations have ranged from legally ineffective to outright backfiring. So, yes, it's been speculated that when Dershowitz advocated for Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted pedophile who is now dead, and got him a sweetheart deal with the help of Alex Azar, the current Secretary of, the Secretary of Human Services, who has also changed the name of the Department of Health and Human Services to the far-right placating Department of Life. And Alex Azar and Dershowitz, part of the team that brought Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart deal, meaning that he was allowed out on day release. This has been covered extensively by the Miami Herald. Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to go to his home for, I think, 6 out of every 7 days. He was supposed to be serving a jail sentence. That might actually be 7 out of every 7 days. But in any case, he was allowed to return to his home, and officers providing security or making sure he didn't escape were instead encouraged to wear suits and address Epstein as Mr. Epstein. So yes, Dershowitz defending scumbags could be at least excused as part of the requirements of the legal profession to defend anybody to whom you're assigned or to defend anybody who contracts your services. But Dershowitz makes a speciality out of defending people who go on to be convicted or to admit, as O.J. Simpson did in his confessional book, If I Did It. O.J. Simpson's alive and roaming free, but he did at least serve jail time. Whereas during Jeffrey Epstein's day release program at a private prison, he could go home for the day, return to a jail at night in his comfortable prison wing. He was also able to entertain young female visitors, some of whom he manipulated into providing him with sexual services. So whilst serving time for being involved in the prostitution of minors, Jeffrey Epstein was able to continue and further his abuse. It's been suggested that Jeffrey Epstein, in his vast interactions with people in the elite of American life, elite academics and powerful billionaires such as Elon Musk, that he may have been able to entrap people in situations, or rather prey upon their worst natures, to involve them in sexual conduct with minors, with child trafficking victims, and then have evidence with which to blackmail them. So it seems reasonably plausible at this stage. We know it's likely that Dershowitz was murdered. The hyoid bone in his, Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. The hyoid bone in his neck was broken. That's part of the details from the coroner's report. It's very unusual, apparently, for the hyoid bone to be broken in self-strangulation cases. It implies great pressure to the neck from 2 points rather than being just from a self-fashioned noose. Hello, Pumpkin. What would you like to say? You're hungry? Yes. Okay, we will go. I'll just say goodbye. If you like, now that you're in the room, you can come and wave hello. If you go put on some masks, okay? If you put on your owlet mask and you put on a Batman mask, you can come wave hello to the people in the video. I'm going to try and do some more broadcasting whereby I review products for how much they contribute to the greenhouse effect, to the addition of gases to the atmosphere that traps heat, that sabotages not only our present but our future and the future of our children. So I'm going to try doing that about products such as soaps that contain palm oil, that contribute to deforestation. You want to buy Pokemon cards, I know. Go put a mask on if you want to say hi to the people in the video. Otherwise, just put your shoes on and get ready to go out. Yes, so Dershowitz supported torture, Timothy's reporting. Never apologize, Caroline, for only being able to listen. I so appreciate your presence and support. The far right is not Republicans. They are the skinhead Nazi party, somebody points out. But I would like to argue that the Republican Party is now facilitating the growth and the power seizure and the essentially coup attempt on America's government by the far right, by neo-Nazis, Christian dominionists, and other people who don't respect the rule of law in America, don't respect the Constitution, and seek to overturn all of it and put any of you who don't agree in camps. And that's the end goal of fascists, and that's the end goal of the people in government now, even Republican senators who might still sound relatively normal. Oh, good work. You don't want to come around the other side, darling? That side, okay. So yes, I'm going to try and clean up the conversation now. Let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein. My daughter's going to come wave hello in a superhero mask. So this is going to be more of a family broadcast. If you find your mask, you can join in too, Pumpkin, but don't say your name out loud. And just, you can say hello. Are you Owlet? That's cool. So when I say the far left, I mean people who, not everybody who supports Bernie Sanders, but the people who support Bernie Sanders and would vote for Donald Trump if their candidate, close that door, darling, if their candidate didn't succeed in the primary election. People who also have no respect for democracy, who think that the world would be improved if it was under a far left dictatorship. And look, dictatorships do give governments efficacy. My husband noted that China is able to close down the wet markets, the unregulated food markets selling live animals that have been implicated in the development of the initiation of the coronavirus, the spread from animals to people of the coronavirus. That is, somebody said hello to you, darling. They said hello. Her name is Caroline. If you want, you can say hi, Caroline.
Hi, Caroline.
Nice. Oh, you also need to brush your hair before we go. Do you want to go start doing that, or you want to keep waving? All right. So yes, to my mind, people on the far left who support overthrows of democracy, who support the initiation of communism without noticing that communism is involved in the death of millions of people across history, those people on the far left suffer a degree of moral bankruptcy because they only want to be right, and they don't pay adequate attention to outcomes for human people. No. Of course, Antifa doesn't qualify. Well, I shouldn't say of course. I don't support violent techniques to oppose fascism other than well-organized techniques because it's not very effective. Non-violent protests where the protesters don't initiate violence are far more effective at winning over majorities and building consensus. So I decry the far left because I think they sabotage our ability to have democratic governments and to overthrow corrupt governments. Thanks, Harvested Beats. Somebody else says that you're a bit cute, darling. You got a bit of a compliment. Yeah. You hungry? Yeah. Would you like some apple? Would you like some raspberries? Raspberries? Frozen raspberries? Oh, okay. All right. Yes, well, I had best go and feed this little one. But thanks for joining in and good luck. Oh, I will put up again one thing, which is the name of a charity that I'm suggesting everybody subscribe to if possible, because it's Stacey Abrams' charity. And she has done a lot of work in trying to, improve electoral integrity in the US, which is a battle that has to be fought at the state level because the traitor Mitch McConnell, essentially a sellout to the global conspiracy to defraud human beings of our chance to fight climate change effectively by advocating for fossil fuel executives, fossil fuel interests around the world. I have a fairly good understanding of the separation of powers, which is why, unlike most people, I often draw attention to one of Trump's crimes that is under-discussed, which is the violation of the separation of powers when he usurped the power of Congress in manipulating that sum of money preserved for Ukrainian military aid by bipartisan measures. You can actually get the raspberries out of the freezer. I know you know how to get a chair and do it. Jamie will point out to you. You organize it with somebody that you know. Who's over there. You tell that chap to help you. And I'll be off in a second. I'm saying goodbye. Yeah, so Moscow Mitch has sabotaged all of the bills put forward by the House, passed by the House, to improve electoral integrity in the US, to shore up America's defenses against Russian attacks. The word interference is too mild. Russia has been significantly attacking and successfully attacking America for some time. Installing a foreign-influenced government is very destructive to America's interests. It's very destructive to the interests of the West in general. I'm coming. All right, so now see you later, everybody. This is Stacey Abrams' charity, Fair Fight. Please look it up because they are at least advocating. You always say this when I start to do broadcast. I know, what a coincidence. You can take that chair into the kitchen and I'll follow you. So yes, I stress Donald Trump's violation of the Constitution more than most people. And that's my concluding argument. You want to write on there? You can. You're allowed to write. It says new comments. It is not an impossibility to extend protections on the American elections. It's quite possible to do more, to enhance cybersecurity measures, to ramp up the defense mechanisms of each state to safeguard Americans' power. And the only reason Moscow Mitch won't do that is he feels assured that Republicans in America, Republican voters, are so corrupted by fascist propaganda that they welcome election interference because they feel that that interference will benefit them personally. Their thinking has degenerated so far along tribal lines that they no longer believe in the American Constitution or the concept of America as a fair, law-governed place. They don't mind Donald Trump overturning the Constitution, provided that he institutes more of a political construct that they think will favor people who look like them, are in their tribes, who identify with them, who share their social values. So, yes, that's all from me. Thanks so much for watching. Please tune in again another time or share this broadcast through YouTube, through Periscope, or through sharing the podcast, which is available on all podcasting platforms. Oh, yes, and I will show you, if you're very enamored of my output and my work and wish to encourage it to continue, please consider becoming one of my Patreons. I have a few, and they do help financially support the acquisition of things like microphones and website fees. I have to pay a fee to StreamYard for being able to simultaneously broadcast to both YouTube and Periscope. which are great things. And I'm very grateful to those Patreons. Thank you so much. Namaste. Cheers, guys. Over and out. And take care of yourselves and each other.